Okay, guys, OSG here. So this is another installment of the rear mount turbo. You know, the more I do this, I would have already been on the road boosting, but the uniqueness of having a rear mount turbo spoke to me, and you know, to be quite honest with you, I love the little kind of sound. And I know with the outlet of the exhaust coming out of the turbo, that's going to be a lot more prevalent even at idle. Maybe that purr, I call it, it's like a cat purring basically. But obviously to do that, you know, I'm gonna put the turbo in the back, and like I said, there's a lot more benefits to putting the turbo in the back, and I think I've went over them before. But if not, real quick on this here, this is the heat shield underneath the car. Now this is the first section. There's another section or two after that. I'm removing, and as you can see, I have removed the heat shield because when you go to run the way I'm running the exhaust and the return from the turbo side by side, and so although there is enough room, it looks like in the center channel here, the first section, as it makes the turn around up to where I'm going to have the turbo mounted underneath the car, this very minimal room in where it makes a turn. But I did notice if I took the heat shielding off, it would open up quite a bit of room. So the question is, won't that heat then get up underneath the underbody of the car and cause the interior to be hot and so forth? I'm going to be using that gold reflective adhesive tape underneath. So wherever this is at, there's going to be a section of that gold reflecting the heat back towards the exhaust. Plus, I'm going to wrap the exhaust all the way back. And the reason I'm doing that as well is because with it residing right next to the exhaust pipe, my inlet tubing, that tubing, the length of it from the back of the car all the way to the front up to the intercooler acts like an additional intercooler. Heat is emanating that's built up during the compression from the turbo. It's radiating off the pipe as it makes its way back up. Then it gets into the intercooler where it's again further charged by the air passing over it in the front. So I don't want to lose that effect by setting it right next to some hot exhaust. And so although the gold tape is going to be meant to reflect the heat back up off from the engine compartment, which again, with the exhaust being wrapped, that probably won't even be an issue. But just in case, I'm going to put that tape. It's cheap. It's not that expensive. I found a site. I'll share it with you later about what type it is, and it's F1 car or something like that originated. But anyway, when you're taking this off, as you see here, these at certain points they're riveted onto the there's little tabs, and I'll get up there and show you here in a second. You're just going to take like a Dremel tool with a cutting disc, and there's a little tit. There's a circular outside, there's a little tit sticking up in the center. The goal is to drill into that, so then you can take away whatever strength it has in holding it. Then I just use a little tool for like pop rivets and just pop them off that way. But drill that tit off, because that tit, if you're going to try to drill center mass, it's going to have your bit walking all around. And so this went relatively easy. There was 2 in the front, 2 here, and then 2 back here. And then right where the curve section comes, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, where I thought it would be an issue. You can see how thin this is here. This isn't going to have enough room basically. But with this missing, I'll show you, there's quite a bit of room. And so you got to understand that there's a gap from behind here, this lip, and the body of the car to about like that, because where these things sit on right here, there's like a bracket support that's been a little strap that's been welded onto the underbody of the car. Plus, I need these pieces missing because the way I'm going to hang the turbo in the back, I'll show you that area. That's basically, I'm going to need to weld a couple of brackets there so I can weld, or I can bolt the turbo to it. I want a nice strong support for the turbo. So anyway, this is the first section. Let's go underneath the car.